After 5 weeks traveling all over Japan, I was mentally and physically fatigued. I needed to escape the crowds and find places in and around Tokyo where I could just be. Here's where I went. Have you ever felt guilty for being tired? This video starts on day 26 of my winter 2022 trip to Japan, and it is the start of our second week here in Tokyo. There was no pre-planned itinerary for this leg of the trip. In this video, we'll stop at major sightseeing spots, but we'll also venture out to lesser-known areas near and around Tokyo to escape the crowds. By this point, the weight of my exhaustion manifested physically and mentally. I felt like I was in a fog. I think I got about 4 hours of sleep every night on this trip because I was up late editing and churning out content every night after spending the entire day exploring. I know this sounds kind of woe is me, but if you've been with my channel for a while, you know that 2021 to 2022 were my head down and hustle years. I talked about it quite a bit in old videos on my channel. I learned a lot of lessons from this trip that, when looking back at it, made me reevaluate my priorities for this year. But more on that later. As you can tell from this footage, day 26 of my trip was very random. We stumbled upon a Christmas market in Hibiya Park, walked some more, ate, walked some more. We walked from Ginza to Hibiya and then down through the underground station tunnels to Tokyo Station. Because, fun fact, you are able to walk underground tunnels to get from one station to another without having to go street level in Tokyo. This is how we ended up at Tokyo Station after finishing our lunch at the station just outside of the Imperial Palace. From Tokyo Station, we went up to street level to the KITTE Shopping Center located outside the south exit. Inside the center, we grabbed a cup of coffee with a slice of cake and then walked through the various stores. The rest of the day was spent aimlessly walking before heading to our hotel for a much-needed early night in. Hey guys, so it is another day in Tokyo. Today we're actually moving from our hotel in Ginza to another one that's about, a 7-minute drive away? So not too far, but first things first, we're gonna check out of this hotel, grab some breakfast, and then head on over to the new one. So let's go.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
So that's where they have sumo tournaments. Right by our hotel. Right now we just got to our hotel, but we can't check in yet, so we're just gonna take a walk to Tokyo Skytree, which you can actually see from here. Whoop. So we've been seeing a lot of like sumo like little statuettes on our walks so far, and it's because, you know, whenever they have the wrestling tournaments, it's right there. So
something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin.
this detail.
Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all.
I love how tranquil parks like this exist in the middle of the city. They are meant for strolling and have lots of places to sit, observe, think, and just be.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand.
We ended up staying here for a bit, and it felt nice to decompress before heading over to Tokyo Skytree, which was also located in Sumida City. Wow, this area is so much quieter than Ginza and where we were staying originally. Not sure if it's because of the holiday or what, but the streets are silent and it's kind of nice. We see the Asahi building. See how the building itself is kind of shaped like a beer? Tokyo Skytree is a 634-meter tall building, making it the tallest tower in Tokyo. It's a broadcasting and telecommunications tower with 2 observation decks with outstanding 360-degree views of Tokyo. Both decks are the highest observation decks in Japan. We didn't go up to the observation decks this trip because it was a weekend, so Skytree was packed. I recommend going earlier in the day on a weekday for less crowds. Wowie. The base of Skytree is made up of many shopping areas, restaurants, and even an aquarium. There is so much to see, do, and eat in Tokyo Skytree town. But again, it can get quite packed, so I'd avoid going on the weekends if possible. The next day was Christmas Day in Tokyo, although you would never know. You would think that Christmas was a huge holiday in Japan based on the amount of winter illuminations and Christmas decorations everywhere. But in reality, December 25th is like any other day. It's not considered a national holiday because of the small Christian population in Japan. New Year's is the big national holiday where family and friends get together. The baristas in the coffee shop we went to didn't even realize it was Christmas until a customer mentioned it. We started the next day in Asakusa. Asakusa used to be the main entertainment district until large parts of the area were destroyed in the 1945 air raids. Located in Asakusa is Sensoji Temple, Tokyo's most famous and popular temple. It is also one of the oldest temples, originally built in 628 AD, but the current buildings are post-war constructions. Leading up to the temple is Nakamisedori, a shopping street with lots of traditional snacks, crafts, and souvenirs. The street and temple get crowded quickly, so I recommend visiting first thing in the morning. The crowds in Asakusa were a little too much for me, so we hopped on a bus to a slower-paced, nostalgic area of Tokyo, in Naka-Ginza. Inaka is a Shitamachi, old town district with a Showa period townscape. It's a low-key district where you can feel true local vibes as you wander through the locally owned shops, cafes, and stalls. Here you'll find a ton of unique traditional souvenirs and local street foods to try. There are even liquor stores and small bars that will serve you drinks on the side of the street. The area is also known for the community cats that live in the area. The cats don't like crowds, so you won't typically find them on the busy shopping streets. but you will find cat-themed souvenirs and snacks all around town. Even the local district flag has a cat on it. When you're there, you should try to locate the 7 lucky cats perched around the area. These cats were placed in Yanaka Ginza to wish everyone happiness. After snacking our way through Yanaka Ginza, we head over to Roppongi Hills, an area that my dad was considering to stay in short term. The area was filled with impressive Christmas decorations. According to the city's website, there were around 800,000 LED lights decorating the trees in Roppongi Hills this winter, making it a nice area to take a stroll with a loved one during late November through end of December. Roppongi was packed Christmas night, so we head back to the area near our hotel for dinner. So I got a pineapple sour, an Okinawan pineapple sour, got a lemon sour, and then some sashimi. First things first, cheers. Basically what I've discovered about these machines is that you know the hot ones are hot because, well, this one says hot, but sometimes they don't. It'll be in Japanese, but usually it's the red tags that are hot, and then the blue ones are the cold ones. So, for instance, like these are cold, even though it doesn't say so in English. For those who are new to the series, my dad is planning to move to Japan. Today, we checked out different areas of Chuo City to scope out potential new neighborhoods for my dad to live in. For lunch, I was so excited to find ozoni udon. Ozoni is an important New Year's dish that symbolizes prosperity and good health for the upcoming year. After we ate, we walked around a bit more before heading towards another potential neighborhood. We eventually ended up in Aoyama, where we stumbled upon the Honda Welcome Plaza, a fancy showroom with cars on display and a cafe inside. From there, we made our way to Little Darling Coffee Roasters to rest up before dinner at my favorite tonkatsu restaurant in Tokyo. This restaurant is my go-to for katsu whenever I'm in Tokyo because the meat is so tender and the flakiness of the tonkatsu is so good. I talked about this in previous episodes, but Tokyo Station is a beast of a station. Did you know that more than 500,000 people pass through Tokyo Station every day? So, if you feel overwhelmed, trust me, you are not alone. It's so easy to get lost in the endless passageways where you'll find lots of restaurants, places to buy souvenirs, shopping malls, and galleries with various themes. Two of the most popular areas are Tokyo Character Street, an alley with pop culture stores like Pokemon, Hello Kitty, Snoopy, Ghibli, and more, There's also a Tokyo ramen street filled with Japanese cuisine and food stalls. You could easily spend a good chunk of the day in Tokyo Station alone. But personally, the constant flow of heavy foot traffic and crowds are a bit much for me. After navigating the crowds at Tokyo Station, we head to the busiest shopping area in Tokyo, Shibuya. Shibuya is where you'll find famous landmarks like the Hachiko statue, Shibuya Crossing, the infamous Shibuya 109 shopping center, and so much more. It's a fun place to shop and buy your Tokyo souvenirs. The next day, we spent the first half of the day at one of my favorite areas just outside of Tokyo, Kawagoe. We actually ended up going there twice on this trip, which means I'll have a dedicated video just for the area. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel with notifications turned on so you know when that video is available. Kawagoe is one of my favorite places to visit because of the well-preserved Edo-style architecture, street food, and the Japanese sweet potatoes that the area is known for. I'll share more details about the area and an itinerary with things you can see, do, and eat in Kawagoe in the next video. At night, we ventured out to the Team Lab Resonating Life Acorn Forest installation in Saitama. Tickets are 1,000 to 1,200 yen, depending on what day of the week you go. The installation was smaller than others I've been to from Team Lab, but it was interactive and beautiful to experience in person. For dinner, we went to an udon and craft beer restaurant located nearby. They hand make their udon here. And then both Dad and I got the spicy and then a pale ale. The next day, we decided to venture outside of Tokyo to Kawasaki, a city located less than 30 minutes from Shibuya in Kanagawa Prefecture. The area around Kawasaki Station is a shopping and entertainment district with many major shopping centers and hotels grouped here. Honestly, we didn't do much while we were here since we came on a whim. All we did was walk around and get lost looking for a siphon coffee shop that may or may not actually exist because we never actually found it. However, a huge lesson I learned on this trip was to be flexible. I learned to let go and just let things be. The missed buses, wrong trains, closed restaurants all led to fun stories or new areas and places that we never would have seen if we had not gotten lost. One of the fun things we discovered in our Kawasaki adventure is that they have the only California pizza kitchen in Japan. I'm from Los Angeles and CBKs are everywhere, but after 5 weeks in Japan, a taste of California was welcomed. Plus, we were curious to see what the difference was between our local CPK and the one here in Japan. I got a fun drink because why not? And we proceeded to order a few of the Japan exclusive dishes like the char grilled shishido peppers, which they definitely need to add to the US menu. We also ordered a few of the dishes we typically got from CPK just to see what the difference was. And overall, the flavor was pretty much the same, but the dough on the pizza was a little different. Everything was really good and we left very full. The past 5 weeks in Japan felt like a whirlwind. I left exhausted but felt so grateful for all the incredible memories made. This trip ended up being just the beginning of my journey creating content here in Japan. I didn't realize I'd be back again so soon in the spring. But before I finish this video, I want to end with some Japan travel tips to keep in mind. 1. If a restaurant went viral on social media, plan to get there a little before it opens to avoid a long wait. 2. Japan train stations have amazing food options if you can't figure out where to eat. 3. Travel days on the Shinkansen are more exhausting than you expect. Try not to plan too much that day. 4. Google Maps and Google Translate are my most used apps when in Japan. 5. Learn basic travel phrases before visiting. Don't expect them to speak your language. 6. Know what time the trains stop running if you plan to stay out late. 7. Avoid the metro during rush hour if you can help it. 8. Wear layers. It could be cold outside and then really warm inside, or vice versa. 9. Wear comfortable shoes. You will be walking a lot. 10. Always have cash on hand just in case. Pro tip, use a coin purse that opens up wide enough to see all your coins clearly. And lastly, don't be afraid to have days where you have no plans at all. Aimlessly walk around neighborhoods, try random restaurants, stroll through the community gardens. Honestly, some of my favorite memories in Japan stem from randomly stumbling upon places or travel mistakes that I've made. I hopped on the wrong bus but ended up seeing an area I never would have. A restaurant was closed, but we found a cute hole-in-the-wall family-run business instead. The list goes on. I really hope you gained valuable tips and ideas of things to do in Japan from this travel series so far. As I mentioned before, I didn't expect to be back in Japan so soon after this trip. I ended up going again for 6 weeks in spring 2023, and yes, I filmed all of it. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel with notifications turned on so you know when new videos are available. In this next chapter, we'll take more day trips from Tokyo, visit more prefectures all around Japan, spend a couple of weeks running around with friends, and more. I can't wait to take you with me and show you all the things we get into. Until next time.